Famous composers of classical music. Why are they all men? Would I know women composers? In this series of videos, I will explore the music of several women composers, hoping to share some of their music with you, and at the same time learn more about them myself. History has concealed many amazing women composers and their music, and it's about time for us to give our attention and appreciation that they truly deserve. Today I'm going to talk about one of my favorite composers, Fanny Mendelssohn, who was a German composer born in 1805. Growing up in a wealthy household, she had opportunities to study music, for which she showed immense talent from a very young age. She was a formidable pianist and was said to have memorized all of Bach's Well-Tempered Clavier by the age of 14. In case you're wondering, she had a little brother called Felix, who also took on the path as a composer, and went on to be one of the most celebrated composers in history. Fanny and Felix maintained a close relationship throughout their lives, with Felix often seeking musical advice from his elder sister, whom he referred to as Minerva, the Roman goddess of wisdom, for her highly developed musical and intellectual insight. I first encountered Fanny Mendelssohn's music in college, where we had to analyze one of her piano pieces, Song for the Piano, Opus 8 No. 1. The piece begins with an opening theme in B minor, and it returns in a lot of other keys later in the piece. So as I was studying Fanny Mendelssohn's music, I realized she often has an adventurous treatment of harmony, since she likes to progress and modulate to unrelated keys that we least expect the music to go to. Also, in terms of form, her music tends to be free from traditional structural frameworks. Musicologist Susan Wallenberg refers to Fanny's songs for the piano as a voyage of discovery, inviting an extension of the travel metaphor. One might say she opens up unexpected horizons. And when compared to the music of her brother, Fanny's music is said to be freer and more innovative, harmonically and structurally. For me, three adjectives I would use to describe this piece would be wistful, longing, and reserved. The opening melody begins on the note F sharp, and as it wanders away, it always gravitates back to the first F sharp. It feels like the music is searching for something, but the effort was to no avail, as the music always returns to the starting point. I get a similar vibe when the music frequently modulates across unrelated keys, meandering through the keys in search of an answer. The music sounds to me like it wants to break out from its current pattern, but eventually returning to its original state. One could say that this kind of parallels the circumstances of Fanny Mendelssohn's life. So both Fanny and Felix showed immense talent from an early age, but due to their differences in gender, Fanny's hope of becoming a professional composer were shattered when her father, Abraham Mendelssohn, wrote to a then 14-year-old Fanny, "Music will perhaps become his profession. Well, for you, it can and must only be an ornament." And 8 years later, "You must prepare more earnestly and eagerly for your real calling, the only calling of a young woman. I mean the state of a housewife." The outright sexist remarks from her father did not stop Fanny from composing, as she produced almost 500 works during her relatively short life, including numerous piano pieces, songs, chamber works, 4 cantatas, and an orchestral overture. Due to the social norms of that time of women composers to work with smaller and more intimate settings, most of her music was solo piano pieces and songs. One of her most celebrated chamber pieces is her piano trio. Her only surviving orchestra piece is an orchestral overture with a slightly different character as the other pieces we've heard before. During most of Fanny's life, due to social conventions, she didn't publish works under her own name, so she had to publish some works under her brother's name, such as a few songs in Felix's Opus 8 and 9. After she finally began publishing her own works in 1846, she unfortunately died a year later due to a stroke. Living constantly under the pressure from her family and social conventions, Fanny Mendelssohn never truly had the opportunity and appreciation that she deserved. But there was one person who was always supportive of her artistic endeavors, her husband, Wilhelm Hensel. As a painter, Wilhelm worked alongside Fanny, and he frequently encouraged Fanny to compose by putting a blank piece of manuscript paper at the start of the day, hoping she would fill it up by the end of the day. Fanny's portrait you see here was also drawn by her husband. In one of their family trips to Italy, Fanny got so inspired that she wrote a cycle of 12 piano pieces, each titled with months of the year, called Das Jahr, or The Year. And as I was reading through some of the music in this collection, it reminds me of her songs for the piano, with its lyrical quality and many harmonic surprises scattered throughout. I'm going to play for you one of the pieces in this cycle, July, not just because it is July now, but also because there are a lot of interesting things in the music which I want to share with you. The piece is subtitled Serenade, but it is much more than just a serenade. The music is in F major, but it begins with a B-flat minor chord, which is very far away from the key center. It then meanders through several keys, eventually resolving to F major at the end of the first section. Immediately after that, the music proceeds to the parallel minor, F minor, in a very different character, with its triplet rhythm and darker harmonies. What's interesting is later when this tremolo-like figure appears in the lowest register of the piano, which sounds like the rumbling thunder we hear during summer storms. So when I heard this, I immediately understood why Fanny chose to write her piece this way. It's as if she's portraying the sounds of nature through music. The weather of July is often unpredictable, with frequent thunderstorms and sudden changes. Much of this is reflected in the unpredictability of the music, in its harmonic and motivic usage. Studying the music of Fanny Mendelssohn has truly been an enlightening experience for me, and I'm sure it will be for you too. If you look beyond the traditional narrative of classical music as dominated by just a few big names, there is a world of amazing music waiting for you. I look forward to exploring more composers in the future episodes. For now, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you soon.